Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Books brought to you by the August. My name is Zaid Umi Muizzat. You're welcome to the show. With me today, we have my lovely co host, Jam Jam.
Hello everyone. My name is Jamila Yakubu. I am the co-host for today's show.
And I
Welcome to
have
today's show.
and I have my second co host, in person of Zubaida.
Thank you. My name is Zubaida Ahmed Abbas, and I'm the second co-host for this show.
Today, we're going to be looking at student unionism and our themes being leadership, legacies, and lessons. Jam Jam, what do you understand by student unionism in a layman term?
In a layman term, student unionism, as we picture it to be, is just the SUG president and his executive. Like what happens before and after, we really don't know about it. Yeah, I think that's what brings us back to today's discussion, right? Behind the scenes. What happens before student unionism, before the inauguration, after the inauguration? Like when a new executive is being inaugurated and when they are relinquished and inaugurating a new set, right? Like the whole walk through the phase. That's why we are here today. So for people like me, for students like me that have no idea to what actually is going on in student unionism, today would learn.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you because even for me, I think student unionism is just limited to SUG. Of course, when they say student union, I just feel it's just SUG. And meanwhile, this thing is supposed to be more, right? Zubaida, what do you think?
Since SUG is not just concerning the leaders alone, SUG is actually meant for all the students as a whole. That's my own perception of it. So I think after the show, we would be able to realize what student unionism totally is and what it's all about.
All right, guys. Today we're going to delve into the experiences, challenges, and achievements of student leaders, and we're going to engage in thoughtful discussions. And we also seek to illuminate the vital role of students' union in fostering leadership skills and advocating student rights. With that note, we're going to welcome our guests. He's a former SUG ambassador of ATBU. He's also a former president of FCMS ATBU and also a graduate of accounting technology from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. Let's welcome our first guest, Mr. Mape Pankwat. All right, our second person for today is a former SUG president of ATBU, also a former chairman of the Council of Student Union Government Presidents, Bauchi State. He's also a former Secretary General of the 19 Northern States SUG President and also a candidate member, State House of Assembly, Yad Constituency, Bauchi State. Let's welcome Alhaji Muazu Sagir.
I would like to also call on stage the former sport director SUG, current Secretary General SUG, and also President set 17/3 CACS, the person of Abubakar Sadiq Muhammad. Coming on stage is also the former Vice President, SUG, 18/19 session, former President, Student Chemical Society of Nigeria, ATBU Bauchi, former National Vice President, SCSN, Northeast Nigeria, and also the former Speaker, Student Representative Council, Faculty of Science, person of Comrade Umar Suleiman, Alkane.
Okay, so from my side, I'm going to call on stage the former Nubas Provost Marshal, the former senator representing MIT, that is Management Information Technology, and the former Secretary General of SUG in person of Abdurrauf Al-Amin Jibrin. Secondly, I'm calling on stage the former NACOS President and the former Student Representative Council Senator and the founder of Nigeria Elite Youth Forum in person of Hamza Ohiani.
Permit me to call on our last guest. He is a former president of the National Association of Kogi State Students, ATBU, also a member of Sultap, ATBU, also the co-founder of Startup Bauchi, and also the Innovation Hub Manager, BOI ATBU Innovation Hub, in person of Ambassador Usman Elias. You're welcome. All right, gentlemen, you're once again welcome to our show, Beyond the Books. So today we're looking at student unionism and we want to look at the themes of leadership, legacies, and lessons. As a layman, I can easily say leadership just simply means someone representing me out there, but possibly that's not what it is. And in context of student unionism again, just like my co-host mentioned earlier, to her, student unionism simply means just SUG. It's limited to the student union government of school, but I believe it's not supposed to be like that. And I want to give the floor to our first speaker, Mr. Mape. What should student unionism really be, or what is it really about, and how is it perceived today in our environment and in schools and the society at large?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. But I think before I can explain or to better explain SUG and what the SUG should be like, I think it is important that I establish these premises. And this premises is trying to make clarification because there are certain misconceptions when it comes to leadership. That is to say, people hardly differentiate what a politician or who a politician and who a leader is. There's need for clear differences. So you see, there's a politician, there's a leader, and there's a manager. All these three means different things in different contexts. Now, to make this distinction, let me begin with a leader and a politician. You see, one thing that is clear between these two is that a politician, his main aim is to gain and maintain power. So gaining and maintaining power is one of the major attributes of a politician. Whereas one of the main motive of a leader is to serve. So you could see a politician knows this game called politics. Politics in itself is a game, right? So the politician knows how to get power and he knows very well how to maintain power. And politicians mostly, in most cases, you see, they look out for personal interests and also party interests. Whereas a leader looks out for the interests of the people he represents. This is just to mention but a few because of time or some of the differences between the two. So you could see that one could possess qualities of leadership, but there's no qualities of being a politician. He's not a politician, but he's a leader. Another could be a leader, but not a politician. A very good example, if I would give, permit me to give, if I would give example with the former vice president of Nigeria, in person of Professor Yemi Osibanjo, whenever you hear this man speak, you know a leader is speaking. However, when it comes to the political game or game of politics, we wouldn't say he's a master in such game. I hope you're following. And then, but that is it for that. So now having established what a leader represents, a leader in himself, to distinguish a leader now with a manager, one key difference between a leader and a manager is a vision. A leader carries vision, but not necessarily that a manager carries vision. So that is to say, you can leave a manager to a responsibility. You come back after 10 years, you still find that manager in the same place or with little significant changes. But for a leader, if you leave a leader today, this year, go and come back next year, you will see a lot of changes. I hope you're getting my point. Now, also, a leader has vision, as I've mentioned, but what propels this vision is the passion that the leader has. There is passion for the leadership. So the leader gives out his own life for that cause, not even taking anything for granted. I'll give you a good example. You see, when we give good example of leaders like Nelson Mandela, for instance, this is someone who has been in prison for 27 years, 6 months. Believe me, if you are to stay in prison for just that 6 months, you will do everything possible to come out of prison. And the only thing keeping him in prison is only for him to renounce his cause on the action that he has taken. But for 27 years, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 27 good years, he has stood his ground on what he stands for and he represents. And that is a very good example of a leader. Now, a leader having the skills of serving and all that might not really be good with working with gaining votes, all these things that we term as leadership. And so to relate it now to the SUG, what we see as the SUG these days is not really what should be. That is to say, we have people playing the role of politics as politicians in place of leadership. That is what is supposed to be in SUG is leadership, but what you see most of the time is politics. And you will see people see that SUG is about Aluta, you do all the Aluta, Gaga, Aluta agency and all those people, yeah, and people like, it's a good leader. Sincerely, it's a total misconception. That person knows how to move with the people. He knows how to gain vote. He knows how to, there are people in this school ATBU, that can tell you you will win SUG president, and I mean it, you win it. Because they know the game of politics. Even in the country at large, there are people that will tell you you will become the president. Just forget about it. They know the game of politics and they know what to do. But the problem is if a politician gets there, he doesn't know what to do next. Simply because he is not a leader. He does not carry the vision. The aim is to gain power and to maintain power. So what leadership should be is someone who is serving. But what we are getting mostly is people who want the power and the position. So SUG before, or better still now to explain the student union government, I think this is where I want to learn now. Unionism in itself, the pattern of government of unionism is different from the pattern of government in federalism. That is in the federal system of government where you have presidents. You know, you call them your excellencies, right? Your excellency, the governor, your excellency, you have honorables and all that. But when it comes to SUG, union, you call him a comrade. And why are you calling him a comrade? What does it mean to be a comrade? Now, these comrades are partners in struggles. It is a struggle. It is a struggle. Funny enough, you know, you see somebody who say he's an SUG president, for instance, or leaders of the SUG, and then they are very good friends with VCs, very good friends with lecturers, and all those things. At what cost? You could see that it could be at the cost of true representation. Because in normal sense, if you are truly representing the students, you know what happens is that the SUG government represents the school to the student. But in real context, what is supposed to happen is that the SUG government is supposed to represent the student to the school. So if you're having good rapport with the VC, good rapport with the lecturers, it could indicate, though it's a good thing, but it could indicate that you're not really representing the student well. Because if you're always taking the struggle of the student, I tell you, if the VC sees you, he want to run away. Because say this one has come with his wahala again. Or if the lecturer see you, they want to run away. Because every time you are looking out for the interest of the student need this, the student don't have this, the student should have this. So they want to run away from you. Because they know that anytime they see you, it is a challenge that needs to be solved. So this is what true SUG should be like. Leaders representing students, and not politicians or potential politicians representing students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mapi, for that beautiful explanation, a big clarification. In your conversation, you made mention of leaders carrying vision, right? And then a manager rarely carries vision. And then you said politicians have the concept of gaining power and maintaining power, right? Okay, I'd like to throw this question to Mr. Usman. Do you support the conversation of leaders carrying vision? Like leaders always carry vision, and managers rarely carries vision, and then politicians only have the concept of gaining power and maintaining power. Do you support that? If no, please elaborate. If yes, tell us why.
All right. Thank you so much for that question. And it's a big question, actually. Talking of leaders, managers, and politicians, it's actually interwoven. But let me start with the first persons who are leaders. Now, when you look at leadership or the definition of leadership and its to vision, leadership itself starts with the ability to guide, which means already for you to be a leader, you must have a vision, right? And it goes with attitude also, the attitude to inspire. You have the vision, can you inspire others to join you, right? Then the knowledge to impact, as well as giving direction. Now, if you want me to give the answer directly, leadership is service, and that is what Mr. Piki has explained. And for managers, where he said they rarely have vision. Now, let me borrow the words of some of our popular speakers. They said, this is how I'll put it. All leaders are managers, but not all managers are leaders, right? Because for managers, there is rarely vision. It's just keep the team flowing, keep it happening. Let it just maintain the status quo, right? But for a leader, you are there to disrupt. You are there to change. You are there to transform. And I like the way you came over with it being the real definition of leadership. So I'm happy I'm seated here with leaders. And among us also are people that have been able to manage and lead. Then politicians, let's bring it back to ATBU. We have come to understand that in the context of politics, many young persons have issue. I think it's an identity crisis kind of thing. Because like he said, and I'm concentrating on what you said, people take leadership to be fame, to be power. You understand? To be, like you said, aluta capacity. You understand? But leadership is far, far fetched from what aluta is. And you have clarified it to say leadership is vision. Management is keeping it happening. What politician now is, which is the problem, as you have rightly put it, that people or young leaders should see that SUG, Student Union Government, is a place to serve. It's a place to sacrifice. It's a place to represent. It's a place to advocate. It's a place to push struggle, not to come and, like myself now, I want to use myself as an example, wear a very clean shirt, your hula is shining, whenever you appear, your perfume is strong. It's good. Leadership needs that. It's a way of inspiring people too. But let it not be the primary objective. And I think today we'll be able to iron out these things, right? So thank you so much for that
Okay,
question.
I think something arose out of the attention of the conversation that has been made earlier. We're talking about a very important aspect now regarding leadership as a whole. And I'm not countering a particular statement, but the issue of calling a manager not a leader, I think it's something to really look into. Because I am handling a particular company, and those three factors of production are there. My very self, uh, capital is there, expected of me to run very well in a very accountable and transparent manner. My level of manpower are there. We're talking about the laborers in short. And now bringing in the other factor, I think if you do not have this initiative of a vision, how then do you think of propelling that very particular aspect of the company you seem to be managing? So that's why I seem to kind of contraindicate, a particular point of mine, and it's very clear. Politician, we kept saying the individuals are just focused on building themselves and not leaving political set, not leaving political set. I see a few people like that, with that negative mindset of being there and not paving way for others to, take the position and maybe learn. Everybody's expected to be succeeded someday, sometime by someone. So a politician definitely should have that very particular vision itself. I see both the three of them as leaders. In unionism, there's that leadership of a thing. Being a manager, you have to be a leader, definitely, because you handle those particular factors that are needed to bring about success in that very particular initiative or enterprise you're handling. Politics, for real. One very statement I would like to pose by is that in all of these three aspects we're talking about, if all of them could be voices and not echoes, then definitely we have leaders.
Thank you very much for giving me the room to speak. I have a little objection regarding what Mr. First Speaker said that some union leaders, they used to act as a leaders and sometimes as a politician. I think there is a little communication gap that, or something that you didn't understand. You see, this issue of SUG, it has been divided into at least 2 to 3 categories in different kind of universities. So here in ATB, we are having SUG, meaning Student Union Government. And there are other universities that have only student union. And there are other universities like Bochi State University. They are having student representative assembly. Let me start with the student representative assembly. The leader or the chairman of the student representative assembly is elected or appointed by the university senate themselves, not the student. The student don't vote for him. It is the senate that they will vote for him into power. So that you go inside the student, observe, again, know what is their problem. And he will make it maybe a written or whatever it is. He will submit it to the university senate and they are going to work on it. He cannot stand in between the senate and the student. He represents the senate. And there is this student union, like University of Benue, I think, but I'm not sure of it. They use student union, where the student, they are the one to vote for you, and you are going to represent them. But you have limit. You have limit. So there are things that you cannot do in it. Let me go to the SUG, where is student union government, where you have full power because it is the student that vote for you to go and represent them. So, even in our life, sometimes you have to be practicing politics because, sometimes no matter how smart you are not going to achieve what you want to achieve if you don't play politics. In this life, many things have to do with politics. You have to be very, very good in politics. So sometimes you know how to collide with the university management and the student. So because you will be in the middle, sometimes the senate or the university management, they will be putting much more pressure on you, and the student, they will be putting much more pressure on you. For example, now, if you don't know how to address the issue, how will you be? How will it be? You have to be you have to be politically minded for you to settle these issues. You know how to persuade the Senate and you know how to please the student. I think that is all I have on this. And this
Okay, so just to make clarifications on this, okay? Now, when I say politician, I am not saying being a politician is wrong. Okay, it is an attribute. One can be a politician but not a leader. One can be a leader but not a politician. And one can be a leader and a politician. Now, when we talk about politics, as I mentioned earlier, I said politics in itself is a game, and the players of this game are politicians. if you have good quality for leadership, I give example with President Yemi. As good as he is unable to get himself to that position because of some of the absence or the play of politics. Now, politics is gaining and maintaining power. And so, for you to lead people, you have to get that position, right? That shows that even you, as a person, you need, even if you don't possess the qualities of politics, you need politicians. I think I mentioned that. And I mentioned the fact that there are people that can tell you, you will go through this and all that, and you will get. But then there's something you should know about politicians. Politicians, one of his top interests, mostly is the interest of the party and itself. He's more of a partisan player. Yes, that is. No, I'm not saying all politicians. I already made a distinction that there are politicians that are also leaders. So you expect that the politician who is a leader has a distinction. And then my friend here already made an observation that he is managing a business and all that, and then you do certain things and all that and all that. This is a leader managing position. I hope you understand. So he kindly mentioned something earlier. He said, all leaders are managers, but not all managers are leaders. There's something extra to leadership that not everybody possesses. And when you begin to check this, you will begin to talk about the law of influence, law of navigation, law of lead, and all this. You begin to see things that are absent in the manager. I will not say that he's not a manager. He's a manager. He can sustain everything. Lights are working, everything. Workers are paid salary. Everything is moving. The system is moving perfectly. But then you will come back 10 years and still meet him in that position simply because vision is absent. And that is where a leader comes in. So you can have a leader who is a manager, but not necessarily a manager who is a leader. So if you are placed, in fact, most organizations love to have a leader as a manager, simply because when he occupies the place of management, things begin to change. Okay, now just to round up my point, you could see that because we have been having managers as SUG, sometimes SUG positions, right? You would see that they keep repeating visions of previous leaders. For instance, some people now you see some of the government printing exercise book, print exercise book. I'm not condemning these things, but sincerely, how applicable is it to the problems that the students are facing? There are more problems. This is 21st century, for God's sake. There are more problems to face. There are more problems to tackle. Now, it is a leader that will see beyond that, know that there are problems.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak here. I'm by name Comrades Alaji the former SUG president of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. I wanted to make a clarification from the first speaker, but since he has given him the mic to speak again, I want to say something very important regarding the conversation. Leadership, leader, manager, and also a politician. I agree with him that a leader, not everyone can be a leader, but everyone can be a politician. Of course, yes. When I was serving as the president of Student Union Government, then I was a leader. After I have finished with that assignment, I decided to become a politician. Because in the process of leadership, when you are a leader, most of the politicians of nowadays, when they used to change from one party to another. But when you are a leader, especially when I was a student union president, I cannot change from one place to another. Like, for example, in the process of leadership, I cannot say I was voted from this party, I want to change to another party. I must remain as a leader of student union government until after I have finished with the assignments. So a manager, you can be a manager on your own, or an organization or any other parastatal. But a politician, everyone can be a politician. I decided to become a politician. Why? Because most of the politicians of now they have godfathers, godfatherism. So a leader always will be a leader, but not all leaders will become a politicians. Will be a politicians. I mean. So I agree with you. After you have made a clarification.
Okay, so I have a question to throw out that's out of the box. Anybody can answer, but I feel like I'm directing it towards the former SUG president. It's out of the box, as I said earlier. Due to curiosity, like I know I'm not the only one curious to know this. With everything, like everything, nothing good comes easy. Sorry. There's leadership and there's also conflict. There's trauma, there's stress. You understand? So my question here is, what are the major problems you've encountered? Like, what shege have you seen? I want to know, not me alone, everybody else.
Thank you very much for this question. I can say I have seen many shages when the time I was the SUG president, and it has started since the time I'm contesting. Because there are some people we call all comrades in ATPU. Other problems of Aluta in ATPU. Seriously, I can say this. Because when the time I'm contesting, I can remember there was a time one person, I will not mention his name, but he called me, he says, we are the one that we elect SUG president in ATPU. If you do not cooperate, you will never be the SUG president. I say, wow, thank you very much. This will be more easy for me to become the SUG president. So what next? You know, sometimes all communities, they have their own demands. If they come to you, try to, you know, they say they have seen some potentiality on you. You will be a good a leader, or you will be the SUG president. They have their own demands. Some they will demand money. Some they will demand after you become the president. But me, I have made the two of them. They want to demand money before the election, and also they want to demand, I don't know their demands, but they have their own demands after I have become the SUG president. He can now call me, the guy called me, we met in one hotel. He said, this is the person that used to manipulate the SUG election, especially when normally SUG, we do our elections online. This guy is a computer guru, will do all the manipulations. He will create pins, blah, 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 and this. If he cooperates, I'm telling you, wallah, you are the next SUG president. Before that, I studied computer science when I was doing my diploma in Abubakar Tatari Polytechnic. And I know how it takes for someone to manipulate like a server, like the server of HEB. I said, okay, since he is a computer guru, okay, I'm listening. He now start saying, we have a challenge for you. You have to pay so amount in dollar because we want to create pins for you starting from this month to the month of the elections. I said, okay, wow. Like how much? He was telling me, as of then, he was telling me $100 each month. And before the election, it will take us almost 3 months before the election. So now if you multiply that $100 times 3, it will give you $200. As of then, that dollar is, the rate of $1 is almost 150 something naira. And now see, this is a very huge amount of money as of then. I say, Kai, this person, I don't think I say, okay, since I'm a good listener, let him finish talking, then I will react. Okay, after he has said it all, I said, okay, thank you very much for this help, and I will make sure that I will provide all the necessary things that you have said I should provide. And also, tomorrow okay, since you have converted the dollar to naira, how much is it going to be? He said so amount. Okay, I said tomorrow by so time I will give you the amount. Well, send me the account number. I will send you the money. It's okay. Now we shake hands and I leave. So after then tomorrow, before I even call him, and I wake up and see almost 11 missed calls with that person. So I now ask myself, I say, the person, me, I'm the one that's supposed to be even calling them, since I'm the one that they are going to help. Why is he insisting that he is insisted calling me? I said, okay, I don't trust this guy. Okay. I now call someone who is a comrade, a genuine comrade. I say, somebody called me yesterday and he was like, he wants to help me to become the SUG president. Me, I don't believe, but what do you suggest? What do you see? You say, I'm advising you to avoid those people. This is what we call all comrades. They want to collect money. In fact, if they even like if they talk with you, they will still go to another person, aspirant, to talk with him. I know definitely you are not the only person that even talk. Let me call someone among the aspirants and at least hear from him. The same thing, $300, something like that. I said, okay. So I now sit down. I said, to give that person $300, why can I use it to do something better for the students? This will draw their attention to even vote for me, and I would still draw their attention at least. They say, okay. I now use that $300. That's the same amount of that $300. I use it for a lot of things to draw the attention to have some support from students. After I did not even react to his calls. I did not even answer his call. He went a place. It's me that is calling Alaji Muazu. He will not, wallahi, I swear to Almighty Allah, he will never become the SOG president. I have a same guy in that place. He now recorded all the talks now. He now called me, Alaji Muazu, where are you? I say, I'm so place. Okay, please, welcome now. I have some very important issue to discuss with you. I say, okay, I'm coming. And now went there, we met, and he say, now play the voice. I said, this is so person. He said, now he said that he will never become the SUG president because you refused to answer his calls, and he had you guys agreed on something and you did not even fulfill the promise that you have made. I say, okay, is that all? Okay. So after then, we continue with the process of campaigning and a lot of things now. So the issue of sometimes when you are in the process of campaigning, there is a lot of petitions. Maybe you have did something, then some people they will even bring it back. They will just use it as something that may even tarnish your inspiration. So after then I become the SUG president. The biggest thing that I have witnessed is we almost contested. We are 9 number when we contested for SUG president, and it is very hard for me. And in the process of leadership in ATBU, there is what we call the SRA, Student Representatives Assembly. These are the kind of people that give headers to SUG president. If the president has the positive or he has the intention of providing a lot of things to students, that the same SRA, they will not even allow you. Especially if the SRA is not in favor of you. So actually, I have made a mistake, but that's not a mistake. Me as I thought, I supported someone to become the speaker. Unfortunately, the guy did not even become the speaker. So that guy that became the speaker, this guy did not even support me to become the speaker. Okay, I will now turn against him. I will do all I can to see that he did not even succeed in his administration. So I now started having a lot of challenges. In part, there was a day I went to Student Affairs Division. I swear to Almighty God, I did not send a letter to student affairs requesting for money, but I just made a letter. The SUG president sent a letter with a signature. That's not my signature, but a signature demanding almost 5 million naira. The dean of student affairs was even asking me, so what are we going to do with this huge amount of money? 5 million naira. I say, sir. He said, yes. I said, sir, that is not my signature or something. So from that moment, the dean, before I explained to him, it's not me that I have sent the letter. He now started suspecting me. I just want to chop money. I was just there to embezzle money, just to enrich myself, not to work for the students. And secondly, one issue came up that even make the SRA to suspend me for a week, although I did not even go on that suspension. They say they have an investigation on me. They want to investigate me because of so that we have did during our administrations. So now they suspend me, although I did not even go on that suspension. So the student affairs call all the SRA, the students, the student executives, and also the judiciary. We now met at student affairs divisions. One thing that even surprised the student representative assembly is that the speaker he was my junior in secondary school. When he started saying, the president is my senior, because he's my senior when we were in secondary school, they were all flagged and said, they knew each other before. So I was just playing a lot of things. So,
my president, sir, if I can cut you quickly, the question came as what has been the shege, right? And from where you begin the premises of this, because you are unveiling a lot of things, and I'm particularly trying to relate to where you are coming from. If I understand you correctly, there are forces that pose a luta, even forces that the ordinary student don't see.
Yeah, I can say external forces.
External forces.
Yes.
And I'm glad today we are talking about student unionism.
Yes.
Behind the scenes. Some of these things you are telling us now, that even me, I'm finding out that there were struggles like this. So, not to cut you off, but to relate to what you are saying. Now, as having served as a president with charisma, I think when you were in the office, we always see him as this charismatic president. Now, can you just, in one word, advise current leaders, aspiring leaders, as to how to deal with this kind of forces, even before going into offices? Because I believe when you mentioned that before going to office, some of these people will even approach you, that they have seen you as a potential candidate. You mentioned that. And if they are going to support you, this is the underlying agreement. So, how does, or how perhaps you were not able to tackle it completely, but now having exited that office and you have seen beyond that realm, what can you tell the current leaders in a very small sentence and aspiring leaders how to cope these kind of forces?
You know, before you contest, or you in the process of contesting, you have your own blueprint. If I become the SOG president, this is what I want to execute. The current leaders should focus on that. If they did not even focus on that, external forces, they will be driving us, driving them, because they have their own ambition. Their ambition is not to serve the student very well, but to serve them well. So I advise them to be very, very focused. For example, I have two things when when I was contesting. I want to do two things. Number one is to introduce the use of telecycle in HEB. And secondly, to build a mini bank in Gobi campus. Alhamdulillah, one was achieved, but the other one was not achieved. Not because I was not very careful. The reason why I said so, the second item that I wanted to achieve, I have to make all the bank managers in Bauchi State. I did not even get support from the management, because the management says, since are money earners, they should come and build the mini bank in Gobi campus and protect their own interests. The school will not provide any security. But one of the managers, he told me that something like this happened in Federal Poly. Armed robbers came and destroyed their building. When they talked to the management was saying they don't have any issue with that. So says, if they came and they built a mini bank in Gobi campus, and something like this happened in Gobi campus, will the management responsibility of that or what? So I contemplating. I now went back to the management, telling them they should support this, but they refused to support it. And secondly, the major challenge I faced, it was during coronavirus. Almost all the tertiary institutions, they have increased their school fees, except ATB. Go and check. Only ATB did not even increase during my own time. If I tell you how I struggled to stop that, you will now say, this president have done very well.
Oh, wow.
Because I have to sometimes if I call BC, he don't even pick. I have to check. Is he at home or is in the office? I struggle from one office to another, from DBC Academy, DBC. I even use external courses, all these big politicians, because I consider that time most of the students were at home, and there is no any means of getting money. How the school management will just come and increase money? Where would they get money? Had a very challenge to that issue. When I came back, they finally agreed that they will not increase. I said the next SCG president will see again, because definitely he will not do the same.
Oh, wow.
And it happened because after then they have increased. The students were saying, if it was Alaji Muazu, this thing will not happen. See, let me tell you, the management have seen all the chat of the comments of the students on social network. They have to even reported me to DSS. I was invited to DSS because they say I was even pushing students to go and protest in the school. I have to go and explain to the director of DSS. So between that moment, seriously, I have struggled a lot to
Such a
overcome all these
coverage.
challenges.
Once a leader was supposed to be picked, by competency, right? Alhaji Muazu here mentioned something about someone asking him to pay money to give him the vote. And another person advised him that instead of paying for the vote, he should use that money to get the votes of the people. Now, anybody can use money to get the vote of the people, but isn't it supposed to be based on competency? Does it mean that if an aspiring leader doesn't try to buy the vote of the followers or the people, they don't get a chance in the leadership position or they don't get a chance in the student, union? I don't know. How is it supposed to be really? Let's be clear.
So the question she has asked, we're all clear with it, right? So I'd like to pick three people here, like directly, for them to answer those questions. And I want us all to dwell on their answers. I'd like Mr. Hamza here to go first, and then I'd like Sir Al-Kaid there to go second, and I'd like Mr. Muhammad here to
Thank
go third.
you, my fellow panelists. I would love to say this. We have to start from somewhere. All the arguments we've actually been making, there is one thing that is missing. And that thing is actually the process. The process that brings one on board determines the viability of that person holding any principal position or any position of authority. And that process, as it were, is in a nosedive situation. What I'm saying in excess is this. Comrades, as we call ourselves, there is one thing that brings people on board, the perception. What do I even want there to do? What do I want to do? Why am I even going there? Believe me, majority of us as it stands today is for us to go there so that we can further, create that synergy within, amongst the political class, so to say, so that we will stand a chance in the future. Not to go there to, serve, or not to see it as a litmus test that will further propel us for something great in the future. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is this. You see, I've contested for the highest position of Kogi State students globally. I know how the whole struggle went. It was something different. The political class, they've eaten deep in our modus of operandi in such a way that they try to influence that process that will take you there. And once they influence the process that takes you there, one thing is paramount to the political class. They will try to protect their interest. Not only the political class. Whosoever that maybe that person, a person of interest, that facilitated the process, would definitely want to, kind of remote you or want you to do things that will agree to his bid. And in doing this, your vision has been distorted. You won't be able to get there. Believe me, there are certain individuals that has, occupied positions of authority that when they're faced with a positive mindset, they have vision, but because of the process that takes them there, when they went there, they will be seeing things they want to do. They won't be able to do it. Their viability, their potentiality will be crippled to a large extent. So this thing is the stem point of this whole argument. And believe me, if we can nail this, if this can be resolved, definitely we'll have a polity that is agreeing to societal development and whatever. You get? So when I was contesting, I limited my moves. I move around the whole federation because NACOS, as it were, is a global body that is engineering the whole Kogi State students, both within and outside, even in the diaspora. So you get? And believe me, the state government would definitely want to have an interest. You get? The state government would definitely want to have an interest. They will be looking for someone that is loyal to them. And this loyalty will be in such a way that, okay, if you are there, I'll be able to remote you, I'll be able to navigate you, tell you, you do this, you do that. And believe me, most of their policies are anti-masses. And if you are there to protect the interests of the students, once, like, take for example, if a government is not paying bursary, let me just put that, it's not paying bursary, then you as a student leader, you have to stand firm to say, okay, fine, SARS, we have to do this. If we take a diplomatic move and if it's not working, you go the other way, right? Hey, but believe me, if your assumption of office is facilitated by the executive governor of a state, how will you go out there to either campaign or protest against what he is doing to those you are representing. It's not possible. If you do that, you are putting yourself at risk. You get? So while I was contesting, I limited my consultations. When I consult, if I've seen it going into that angle, then I withdraw immediately. Why do I have to do that? Because I have a vision. And I know if these people facilitated this, that vision will be killed. And at the long run, I'm going to lose the support of the students that I want to represent. And at the end of the day, I won't have something to show for it. So in a nutshell, we have to, as a matter of fact, we that called ourselves comrades, believe me, as it were now, I've started withdrawing back from bearing that name, a comrade. And I have my reasons for it. Most of the times, if you go to public places or meet with people and what have you, the first perception they will generate if you call yourself a comrade is a thief. Are you getting it? He's a thief. Because most of what we are doing are not in line with the objective of the comrade. The comradeship really entails, it has three principal responsibilities: to protect, defend, and uphold the interest of the students. So anything you are doing that is short of these three things, you are on the contrary. You get your point? So I want to, as a matter of fact, for those who are actually listening to me, to please, let's try to first change our mindsets. And let us not be desperate. We don't have to be desperate to go to power. I wasn't desperate. I was a leading contender then. I had the support of the whole entire Kogi State students, but I could not make it to the presidential position. But I was so happy. It wasn't actually an election. It was in form of an internal kangaroo arrangement, so to say, or a political higahaga, I would say. So at the end of the day, the person emerged, but I'm happy. I didn't emerge, but I have a name. As it's way today, anywhere you go, if you call Hamza in Kogi State, or any Kogi State students out there, both home and in diaspora, they give me that respect because I didn't undermine what actually facilitated my move to even contest for that position. Because if I should do that, I'm going to be at the receiving end, and I'm going to fail that litmus test. Even in ATBU as it were, I have something to say about it. That same thing is happening here. What am I saying? You see, before you become an SUG president, let us be frank to ourselves. There are a lot of factors that actually facilitated you going there. It might be, as you said, behind the scene, you don't know. Some from outside campus, some within the campus. Then how are you going to do? And as it were today, also, you see, the student union government are under the tutelage of the school administration, and that's bad. I'll say this and say it again. Though I do not actively participate in student union government of ATBU. Though I've served as NACOS president ATBU, I've equally served at the faculty level as a senator, but I backed out and focused on national struggles. You get the point. But one thing I got to realize is that the management of ATBU are actually the one the SUG are not independent, especially financial independence. You can't. It's quite all right. You understand that there are youths can actually leverage on any opportunity they have to squander public funds. It is better they set up a committee that look into the management of the finances that comes from ATB rather than our finance being with the student body. Before you do something, you have to seek the permission of this, of the school management. And believe me, most of what the school management will do are things that will favor them. You as a student leader, you have to do things that will favor.
The boss is raising a comment here.
Okay.
I think I have a point of order to raise.
All right.
If you had really served in the SUG as an executive, there you would understand that it is not that they are there to influence stuff that had to do with your finance and many things like that. Rather, to help you control the level of management there. Don't say they have full influence. Maybe I'm drawing a point of order. I'm not backing the management in any way, but I would fully tell you that if we, the students' union, we know ourselves, if not myself or many other people out there, are left to handle finances, like it's been seen in many institutions, you will get to see and signal a lot of mismanagement and, going through things, bringing in things that are not in order. The procedure is very soft, and I love how it goes in ATBU. The deputy dean is there to observe and, scrutinize what you have presented. Because we know ourselves, there is usually this inflation in figures regarding what we are expected to execute as union leaders. We know that a bucket is purchased 15 naira and you are multiplying it 5 times, 250. If you were the very people managing that, I want to believe the president, Mr. President is here. You want to wish to, make his very what do you call it, executive member feel bad. We just, okay, take the 250 and go and buy it. But are we really fair to the people that are generating that sum amount? The management is doing well, and I want to say, and I should be kept at that position once again. Thank you.
All right. Why? I actually love your input. I appreciate that. But I still have something to say. I'm still not agreeing with that. Why do I have to say this? Let us be frank to ourselves. It is better for the school management to set up a committee that looks into the management of resources rather than them being in possession of the resources. For them to be in possession of resources, one way or the other, has crippled your viability in that office. That is just the truth. And there are more to student unionism, there are more to administration than maybe inflating figures to go and buy something and what have you. One thing is very, very paramount: the interest of that particular student that you are protecting. How will you pressure somebody that happens to be a paymaster?
Very sorry, sir. Very sorry. The management is not in possession of the student union funds. We have an account, and that account does not call the vice chancellor or the dean or the registrar as its signatories. The president and two other representatives, sometimes the secretary general, but possibly we have the treasurer there, and then one more person, maybe the financial secretary or the secretary general. This means they are not in possession of it. They are just there to help in your utilization of that resources. And I want to bear this very point of talk that no managemental staff will engage himself in any of those activities that we might be thinking negative of. I'm very sure of this because I've been there.
Okay,
and
I
I've
would
seen
want to say something particularly on this topic you're talking of. I would agree with you much on this factor. You see, if we want to support advocacy of comrades, then we must encourage independency. I don't know if you understand. Already it is a problem in Nigeria that the president is paying the judiciary. And because he has control in their appointment and other activities, he can, in a way, influence their decision. It is already a problem to us that the president have significant influence on INEC by making appointments. And because of that, he can tell the INEC president what the INEC chairman what he wants, and he gets result. So I am advocating to you the interest of my student, whereas you have an influence on my finances. I don't know if you understand. You see, already it's a contradiction. Now, there is a way this thing could strike a balance. And just as he has rightly said, I want to also agree with what he said. Because truly, if they don't put a watchdog, I am telling you, we'll be shocked. We'll really be shocked. But let the watchdog be an independent body, not the comrades, not the management. This one are independent watchdogs. And then any petition that this independent watchdog will write as a jury, the school will honor it and then implement it. Independent body could be, if you see a company, for instance, company have board of directors. And board of directors don't necessarily have to be shareholders in the business. They are even outside the context of the, I hope you are following what I'm saying. Now, it is not out of place. The same way we have visiting lecturers from other schools that come, right? We have visiting lecturers, we have external supervisors that are coming from other places, right? We can have external watchdogs. Maybe two from here, maybe let's say the secretary or the district will be from, but the chairman will be from another university, which is not under the influence of the VC, it's not under the influence of the student affairs or whatever, and he can make decision and say, no, you are not treating these people right. Do this and do this and do that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Under legacies, since it's three aspects, so there are skills you must have learned when you are a leader or now that you are a leader. What are those skills? What are things that you never knew you had before, but due to leadership, that experience, what are those things you've gained?
Okay, I think we're talking about something very vitally and important. Legacy and skills. Very, very vital and important. Before I dive into that, I've been hearing people, the group of comrades we are having here, advocates and so on, speaking about that beauty in leadership. I intended hearing a word from someone because I have a primary assignment as a student and I decided to step into leadership. I might be a father, I have kids, and I want to lead. If I'll give a definition of leadership, I would say it has to do with sacrifice. You're bringing something, you have to devote your time, your finance, your resources, your energy to develop a particular group of individuals. So I would rather say this word capitally as sacrifice because not everybody could dive into that very particular running ocean. Somebody might eventually die. So in the case of this, before I go into legacy and skills properly, and advice regarding this very particular aspect of leadership, have the passion. Influence doesn't just play that very vital role in keeping you going that much. I have the passion to do it. That spirit is there. It keeps me moving no matter the length of time. So, one thing very important are the 3 C's that everybody will keep in mind as a watchword. Consultation is very important. Consult people. From there, you know the good people, the bad people, and some people will give you ideas regarding how you improve in the roles there. You then consolidate. In the course of consolidation, there's danger in that very particular journey because your enemies might even be the same route as you go. That creates a lot of dangers. We're having secret talks here and it's going somewhere. If you're very strong in that spirit of consolidation, your team is set and everything is ready, you then go to the last C of leadership, which is confrontation. No fear should take you down. Because I've seen lots of leaders having this failure of, I've gone very far and I have seen someone that is more competent than I am. I wish to step down. Gentlemen, I never came into politics or leadership, more said, to like go down and let someone take the ship I seem to be the captain for. I want to sail and move my people. And I trust in myself, and this is why I'm doing this. This should be something that somebody or someone someday should put in his mind in the track of leadership. Now, diving into it properly, legacies. You see, this is something very important. A colleague here has said it all. Something people will talk about. What, spirit of solace have you kept in the hearts of people when you left? Something you left, in a very, cool look before the eyes of everyone. Everybody's happy, though we might have those that will criticize. I'm from PDP, I'm from APC, like it's going in our Nigerian politics now. No matter how positive you do in the other party, even though it's, suiting the hearts of people, there's always going to be criticisms that go here and there. So, in this very particular aspect, one thing is very important. Somebody said, people keep matching what is left behind and then they seem to do theirs. This is very wrong. You have to continue from the steps of your predecessors. They left office with something, government is expected of continuity, but rather not you marching onto something and then expecting to build something new. The moment will pass by, leaving their projects unfinished, and yours will be left unfinished. Now we have another person coming into office again, succeeding you, who will still match into what you have been trying to formulate for a long period of time, and then building something differently. This is very wrong. People should continue from where the past leaders stopped. I would like to give a very, short highlight of a few number of things. We've been talking about this external influence. We've suffered this so much, honestly. We've suffered it. We've seen its danger. We've seen how it has, breached the gap, even regarding how we influence students and stuff like that. You're having academics. Managing it is even a problem. This is it. So, in this very particular aspect, I want to be very open today because this is behind the scene. We fear nobody. And we are here to spill it out. Gentlemen, we were in the danger of a number of manipulations going here and there. When we came into office, we seem to observe there are a number of things that are going on that are not fair in regards the aspect of this very tiny common room you seem to see. People go there for entertainment, relaxation, whenever they are having issues with their academics, go there, relax, have fun, things like that. One of the legacy we kept in the minds of students was reverting that custodianship of common room into where it is constitutionally right. That is the hall executives, because it belongs to the hall. We reverted that, and students started enjoying that fun and entertainment without paying a penny. I want to believe students in ATBU can still recall that. You enjoyed that. A challenge came. On the journey, we were moving, and external influence is now still trying to play its role. The students were still protesting again. We have to buy their display materials, subscribe for the whole year, do many things there that will create entertainment in our students. But something will still came up. They were still trying to fight us again. You keep doing things for students, and it's not just going very well for it. Totally. This is one. Reverting the custodianship of common room was one. One very important thing is that we have learned what it means to be a transparent government. A government which is open to all will leave its people without doubt, and they will sure say a lot of things about what you are doing. Not a hidden government that will keep its operations with nobody seeing. There might be a number of embezzlement on the journey and stuff like that. But how about a number of times that you call for, a congress, and you're addressing students regarding a number of things they had in respect to their financial implications, how you have been governing them so far so good, maybe 3 or 4 times annually, maybe quarterly or stuff like that. I think it's very important. We have left the legacy of transparency. The government that came after us will bear us witness that they came and met an accountable government. Yes, We have this record keeping of a thing. No penny goes in or out without its very information there. No partnership company will come in without stating a vital impact it kept. And the succeeding government took it and they saw it. There was a moment we saw that within the roads of Gubi and other things like that, and besides, inside Gubi, it's always there's shinkafa, the wake, and maidayaji. You know, that notion of a thing. We thought that why wouldn't we provide a grinding machine? People underestimated and looked down on that. Sometimes small projects are very important. A grinding machine was provided, a few of them, which enabled a number of people, furnish themselves well. You're having this interest in food and you're now enjoying something more different. It changed from shinkafa, the wake, the mediaji, to shinkafa, the wake, the miya. And that went very well. People appreciated that. Vulcanizing machines were provided. Very little projects that people look and underestimate, but they helped within the roots here. Sometimes, you're living witness that a number of people might fall victims of circumstance and you're on a journey, the ties, or bust, stuff like that. How do you do that? You keep students waiting while they have lectures, exams, or tests. Issues like that don't go really well. Much legacies to mention but a few. Now, let me finalize on the skills generally. I know if I would tell a lot of people in ATBU that courage in me was rebuilded more when I was a leader than when I was nothing. I think a number of people will deny that. I had builded more courage in leadership as a skill. It really is. That's one. Two, I have learned what influence is all about. You carrying people along and how you're able to manage them. Somebody might come and insult you in public. He might be carrying the media. He might be carrying other people. How do you react to that? Sometimes a person might throw a question to you. If you are elected to so person and a student slaps you, how will you retaliate as a leader? It carries a lot of issues and things like that. So I have learned how people are being managed to the best of my ability in student unionism. This is two. And then three, I have learned what it means to kick away this sort of cabals. It's a very important skill, more like football. You know your goal positions and you know how to direct things. Expectations, which I would like to appraise my president fully. Right from inauguration, they are expecting a sense of appreciation. This person brought you into office. Nobody brought you into office. The power of the electorate is what brought us into office. And this is because the competence they see in us and the ability for us to deliver. So in this very particular aspect, I want to say a lot have been acquired. To mention but the few listed here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to speak on legacy. Well, I think the former vice president, who is also a panelist here, the person of Akin, has spoken a lot in regards to legacies, continuation, as the case may be. Well, I served as the sport director of the student union government, the past administration, and ever since my inception into this school, I've seen that there haven't been any recognized competition under the basketball game, of which I'm what a player of that game. And I have so many teammates, both from Yoruba and with the campus, of which this game have made me to become not just friends, but become brothers with them. We share the same ideology. And alhamdulillah, I happened to become the assistant captain when I was in 300 level. That was actually the same time I emerged victorious as a sport director, and I was able to organize the first ever interfaculty basketball game, which saw faculties within Yoruba and Gobi to participate in that competition. Well, I have this vision of making it a home and away basis, but due to the structuring in Gobi campus here, that's speaking about the courts, which is not in good shape, we were able to play all the whole games in Yoruba, and I was able to source transportation for some of the teams who happened to come from Gobi campus to Yoruba. I really appreciate the effort because without them, I don't think I would have had a good and complete legacy. You understand? And then I also saw myself trying to, liaise with the chairman sport advisory committee to see that they organize VC Cup, that's the Vice Chancellor's Cup. Because I think in the last four academic sessions, we have never had such. But along the line, I was not able to, to get that into happening. But I think talking about legacy and completion and continuity, I think this is a vital, or let me just say, it's a crucial problem that we are having. Because sometimes when someone leaves an administration or leaves an office, I think what is expected of what the new elected candidate or the new administration is for them to consult, just like what my panelists made mention inside the history C. They are supposed to consult from what the outgone executive. Okay, what did you do? Where did you stop? How were you able to do this? How were you able to move that you were not able to complete? These are the questions you're supposed to ask. Unfortunately, we have some persons who feel too big to come or to lower themselves to ask such questions, and that is what a very big problem to us. And then speaking about skills, well, I learned one good skill with meetings from the academic staff in the university, which after that is also decision making skill. If you have to make a decision with anyone, which without agreement, please, my brothers and sisters, have it documented because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. The future is unseen. Tomorrow is pregnant. You don't know what it will give birth to.
Okay, thank you very much. So, generally, I think somebody mentioned that legacy has much to do with what people say after you're not there. But to much extent, sometimes they don't have to say. Yes, sometimes there are things that we know as leaders you do that even nobody knows about it, but this is your own sacrifice and contribution. But the impact is felt or will be felt subsequently. And then, secondly, legacy comes after leadership, not legacy before leadership. So you see someone assumes office, but the first thing he's thinking about is the legacy he'll keep. What will people remember me for? And then when your focus goes towards that way, you see you start misfiring. Let me tell you, most of the people that kept legacy that we're talking about today, like Nelson Mandela, he wasn't aiming at legacy. He was aiming at leadership. Was it Mahatma Gandhi? Thank you. Sorry about that. He wasn't aiming at legacy. He was aiming at leadership. And then legacy now followed. Now, just to hit the points now because of time, my legacy when I served as ambassador or SUG ambassador of the student of Campus Gobi was number one, I started the responsibility. There was no predecessor, nobody to take responsibility for, so everything was fresh. So the first thing I did was to split the off campus into three, that is the central zone, the northern zone, and the southern zone, and appointing senators for each zone. Yes, and which, of course, I'm hoping that these senators will be part of the student representative group so that they will represent students of campus. That is number one. Number two, we now recognize lodge representatives. That is to say, lodge representatives, caretakers, student caretakers, right? Now they will now become lodge representative for more effective communication. And in line with that, I appointed ministers. That is the Minister of Information, the Minister of Defense, Minister of Water Resources, the Minister of Power, so that they can aid and help me work with those teams and all those units and limitation. So for those of you that know the off-campus Gubi before, you will know that the issue of insecurity it was something else. Robbery was like almost on a daily basis. So when we assumed the responsibility, one of the first things I did was to establish a team known as the QRT. And the QRT is the Quick Response Team. This Quick Response Team are student volunteers. Students, some of them are military personnel, some of them, but they're schooling here. They have security knowledge, so we established the QRT. And this QRT are responsible for the security of the students, but they cannot just do this task alone. So because of that, we established a joint task force. And personally, I requested the school to make a police outpost, to build a police outpost here in Gubi. And please, I'm saying this to other leaders as well. We need a police outpost here in Gubi. We have thousands of students here, and there's no single police outpost. There's no fire service. No, all these things are not available here, and it's so risky because this place is far from town. You know, the police officer said, DPO, we're speaking with him, and he said, why didn't we call them when they were doing the robbery? I said, sir, this robbery just took 3 minutes. So if we call you, what time will you come from town? So you see, we need an outpost here. So that time they promised me, and they gave me a helix of police officers that will come every evening from 6 o'clock, and then they'll go 6 o'clock in the morning. Yes, and they gave me 6 police officers. We did other projects like the water project. We created the water outpost, though we had limitations to funds and other things. And we also did an operation light up Gubi. That is to say, putting lights on security lights there in Gubi because there were cases of phone snatching and other things. So we wanted to eliminate that. And I can tell you for sure, these things were eliminated drastically. And most importantly, just to cut all these things because of time, we created this good rapport and relationship between the students and the community. In fact, for the first time, they were so excited. There's never been a time that the students sit together with the kings and with our government. We sat with them, we discussed with them, and all that. And lessons learned. Permit me to say one of the major lessons. Okay, please, since this is going online, it's important that I also put this place. We have also initiated a fight against high house rent in Gubi. And sincerely, the fight is indeed a battle. And I know that people hearing this, maybe someone can come to the help of student of campus. The rent is so high, and I feel the SUG should put in all their mights to see how they can help students of campus. So part of the things that I've learned in my responsibility, number one, as one of the speakers have mentioned, is patience. Sincerely, patience and tolerance. You will have the vision, but how to communicate the vision is another thing. for people to understand where you want to take them to. And sometimes you see that the people you want to help are the ones that are indirectly even fighting the vision without even knowing because of ignorance. So communicating the tolerance and the patience to communicate this vision to them was indeed a lesson that I've learned over time. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for these questions. Let me start by answering the first one. After the school management, or I can say the what do you call it? The LCOMs inaugurated the new incoming executives, student union government leaders. They form a committee, transition committee. I know the purpose of having that committee is for them to have every office, like handing over every office, the documents. But that one, they form it purposely to tarnish my image. They use it against me. When the time I handed over the student union government, the past SUG president before me, there were no transition committee. I did not form any transition committee. Why? Because I came and I have no grudges with anybody. So I have to focus and do my work. But in the process of my leadership, we had a lot of grudges with comrades. But they used that transition committee to go against me. So in the process of that, I have faced a lot of issues, seriously, which there were people they were even threatening me to send my name to EFCC or ICPC. I chop money, a lot of things now. But Alhamdulillah, with that, I have overcome all the challenges and we have resolved everything before and after. And secondly, there are a lot of things that have been thrown bad things to me, seriously. I had, there was a girl she was even saying, there was a rumor, I can say it, a rumor. Sometimes a comrade, ladies of that particular campus, they used to call us, especially the SUG president, humanizers. We take the advantage of that office to be mingling with ladies, taking ladies to off campus, doing a lot of things. But the same thing applied to me. There is one lady called Nusaiba. Sorry for calling her name. Because it always, anytime I remember that thing, it touches my heart. There was a guy that gave her a petition. Is it a petition? Or I don't know, Sha. That she should circulate that into various platforms. This is what Alhaji Muazu is doing during his time as SUG president. He used to take ladies in the car, romancing, a lot of things now. So now, when I see the post, I say, this is the person that even posted this thing. I called her. Who are you? I'm so person. I have seen a post. You are posting that Alhaji Muazu used to take ladies and have some bad things, romancing, a lot of, he used to touch ladies' bobs, something. Yes, now. Are you sure of what you are saying? Can you give an evidence to what you have just posted? She cannot even defend herself. She cannot even prove that it is true. I said, if I take you to the management, will you defend yourself? And I will not leave this thing like this. I will make sure that you go to the security office. I must prove you wrong or prove yourself wrong. She now started saying, if it is not true, why didn't you come out and say it is not true? I said, I will not. Because if I start writing things like this, it has proven that yes, it is true. So I don't have to say it is not true, but you have to go and clarify it by yourself. So from that moment, she started saying, "I'm sorry, sir. I was just, directed to be posting this on social media platforms and also to tarnish your image." I said, "No, we have to go to security office or the management to resolve these issues." But since I know I'm not part of what she have just claimed or what she have just said, I forgive her and I say it is okay. So anytime I remember that thing, it touches my heart all the time. Because in the eyes of people, most of the ladies in the campus, they see comrades as humanizers. They take the advantage of that. Let me tell you, after I have done with departmental presidents, I now decided it is not, I'm not the one that even said I should contest for SUG president. My departmental colleagues, colleagues from my department, are the one that even initiated I should contest for that particular position. And I said to them, me, I don't used to talk to ladies, and majority of the votes are coming from the ladies. How can I become the SUG president? How will ladies will vote me for SUG president? They say they will do all they can to see that I gain votes from the ladies. So someone that is afraid of talking to ladies, how can he become a humanizer? Seriously. So that is the major challenge that I faced, and we have resolved it after. And she have just become my friend. That means I have a particular name. She had become my friend. We used to chat. So we used to this thing communicate.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Bahaushe ya ce gurmi ɗan dare. Okay, so I'm directing this question to everybody. Kusan Bahaushe still ya ce rai da buri. So there is something Englishmen call temptation. There is no way you are seeing money up and down, and there are all resources you can use to your advantage to get whatever you want. So there's no way you can tell me you've never been tempted to seek what your heart desires. And part of the desires, particularly, I would pinpoint on two things. There are women and there are money. What were your temptations? I'm directing this to everybody. What were your temptations as
All right,
leaders?
talking about temptation, wherever there is money or women, I should say, definitely the devil comes in, especially money. Hope this is not life. Okay, now when you talk about money, honestly speaking, I've been tempted, and I think I did one or two, whereas I really need to fill up my pockets. But it was on the lighter note, or on the lighter ground, as the case may be. Because during the competition, I organized the competition, and the whole stress, everything, you can't expect me to go like that. Definitely, I must, find a way to get an incentive because I know my ways. So let me just say it this way: I have been tempted, and it's
Okay. So regarding temptation, truly, you see, women are beautiful, especially women in ATB. Sincerely, are beautiful. It's even recently that I'm seeing even more finer women in the place of leadership. But lucky for me, I'm married to the most beautiful woman. And sincerely, that means a lot for me because most of the time she's sitting here with me in school and all that. So I think that's a big win for me on that level. Then, secondly, on the issue of money, don't ever give it a chance, regardless. I have built certain stamina on money, but I did not even give it a room for any chance. So this is what happened. We agreed to, in order to achieve some of the projects we wanted to do, every room in the campus will contribute a sum of 1,000 naira. Now I make it in a way that if they contribute this 1,000 naira, they are paying to their lodge rep, and the lodge reps will now forward it to the Minister of Finance. So personally, as the ambassador, as I'm speaking to you, I did not touch 1 naira with my hand. I did not see it with my eye. The only thing I do is to make approval. So, for example, if the Minister of Power brings his budget, I'll just approve. If the Minister of Water Resources bring their budget, I'll just approve. And all of them, they know me. They will bring receipts for the transaction. And we presented the financial statement. I will attach the receipts. If you bring receipt that you purchased this, we will post it in the group, in our general off-campus group. Today we bought this thing. See the receipt, see the number, see the shop. If you want to go and ask and verify the price and everything, this is it. So one thing that has helped me was I did not touch money with my hands. I made sure that everything was going through the system, so everybody is accountable for whatever he's given.
Okay, regards this very important aspect, I think we're human beings. Temptation is natural. Uh, I think what is very strong out of that very particular aspect is that how do you really control yourself? You know, two things helped me. Not that I didn't see money and love them, or see women and appreciate them. I do. You know, we have beautiful and gorgeous women all over. You seem to one day feel you're going to be making a family, and then your eyes are all over watching. You want to be rich someday. You know, see how you equip yourself with the standard. You know, improve the living and stuff like that. Two things guided my journey. One is that one standard priority I placed in my heart was that God is first. God comes first in my aspect. You are tempted here, you are tempted there, but prayers is one of a very strong weapon that kept me moving. Now, the second thing that kept me away from, you know, building this lack of a reputational guide that will say something about me someday or protect the integrity I have was the respect I have for my family. I was brought up in a very good family that never taught me what it has to be like, you know, stealing or maybe going into a very negative behavior with women or stuff like that. So, being a very strong ambassador to your family, wherever you are, in whatever place and at whatever time, I think is very vital. So, family, putting them in my heart, placing God all over me, has made me resist the temptation of money and women. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Aka ce bakon kuɗi shi ne idan ya ga kuɗi suke tsorata shi. The time I talked to my parents that I want to contest for SUG president, AGB, my parents advised me, whatever belongs to you belongs to you. Something that is not belongs to you does not belong to you. They know money included, especially in student unionism or anything that you are contesting, especially in leadership. She advised me personally, my mom, she says, I don't want to hear after, for example, you become the SUG president. I hear any case, money case, anything related to money case. I don't want to hear it from you. After I had become the SUG president, I now finish my tenure. I swear to Almighty Allah, Allah is the witness. The time I left office, I doesn't have a single 500 naira in, both in my pocket, or I kept it in my account, or anywhere else. Because I'm a religious person. I read it in Quran. Allah ya faɗa ya ce duk gaggar jikin da aka gina ta da haramun wuta ita ce makamashi. So I try to maintain that. If I steal money, I know one day that money will go. And still, the consequences still remain. So I try to, bring myself to a situation whereby I don't used to go and withdraw money by myself in student unionism. For example, if I form a committee, I will now direct the treasurer to go and withdraw money. And I will make sure that if a committee go and ask anyone, if they have a budget of 50,000 naira, I have never ever take a single kobo out of that 50,000 naira. Their money will go directly to that committee for transparency and accountability. So seriously, I try to, all I can to see that I protect my image from that. After the student have been threatening me to send my name to EFCC or ICPC, I say they should go ahead because I have all the documents. Any money that has been approved by the student appears, I have the records. So I don't have any pay or someone is threatening me that the only thing that I pay is my name before it's been clarified. People will believe that it is true that we stole money. So, but I know even if they have taken me to anywhere else, I will be free, inshallah. So we try to see that we do the right thing.
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. Kun san Hausawa suka ce kowane tsuntsu kukan gidansu yake yi. So Gaskiya, from our family, let me go back to Hausa, I'm English. From our family, I come from a very reputable family, the Matoris family. If you are from Bauchi, you know Matoris family are very, very well respected family in Bauchi. So we are very, very respected in such terms. And since when I come to ATVU, since from 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, 500 level, I have never had a girlfriend. And people find it very, very difficult to agree with me that I haven't had a girlfriend during my time in ATV. And I assure you it's true. Nobody can confirm that I have once had a girlfriend in ATV. Yes. So I faced a challenge when I was about to contest in SUG. I was about to contest Secretary General. You know, that position is very, very wide then. So um, I was like, so how will I even become the Secretary General? I don't used to talk to ladies. I don't know anyone. So it is even during my 300 level in HEB, I started talking to ladies because I have vision, I have a mission that I wanted to achieve. So that is when I started learning how to even talk to ladies, not with even friendship or something like that. I just want to build a cordial relationship with me in the sense that when I told them that I have the mission or vision of becoming SUG Secretary General, this one is a very, very good person. He's very kind. I'm going to vote for him. That is the main reason that I've started talking to ladies. If not because of that, I don't think I will know any lady. If not something that has to do with academic activities. Um, I think that is all regarding the temptation on women. And regarding money, actually, like Mr. President here used to say that mutum kakan yi kwaɗayin abin da baka da shi ne. Abin da baka da shi ne kake nema. In kana da abu ba za ka neme shi ba. So alhamdulillah, when I became the Secretary General of the SUG, alhamdulillah, I was doing okay. So, and I know that I have something much more bigger that I want to achieve rather than just money. If I focus on the money, it's going to limit me. I'm going to end my career from student unionism and I have somewhere to go. I want to reach some certain point. But if I couldn't resist the temptation to embezzle students' money, I'm not going to reach there. I'm not going to reach there. So actually, I try my very possible best not to involve myself in anything like investment, not even in student unionism. You never ever had me with someone fighting over money, even if it is sharing. Everything you do, if you bring it to me, I will collect it with even with a smile on my face. I know that what is meant for me will be my own. And there is no one can stop me from getting it. That is what God destined for me to get. You know, and there is this hadith from our prophet. We say that la yadkhulul jannata jasada guziya bil haram. Jikin da ta ginu da haramu ba za ta shiga aljanna ba. Kuma na san da haka. So I didn't na san da haka. So ba zai yiwu a ce na san da wannan abu kuma in je in abin nan ba. Bai rai dace ba. Due to time factor, I'm going
All right.
to.
I think on the issue of finance, I would say this: it has actually been a sacrificial journey for me. So I've not actually found myself in a position where I'm prone to money. It has been a sacrificial journey for me all through. And though I've built myself, and I'm pretty much sure that even if I should get to that position where I'll be prone to finance, I will be able to, utilize it in a manner that I won't appear to be someone that has embezzled public fund. I think if on the issue of women, no singular comrade, is exempted from that threat, because in as much as you started making wave in the political arena, definitely, girls will definitely start, coming for you or something. But what matters most is that self-discipline. So if you have that self-discipline, I think it's even the easiest thing to deal with. And Alhamdulillah, I've crossed. For now, I've actually crossed that. Going to the future, I hope I will keep the tempo going. That's just it. Thank you.
All right. It's kind of a big thing for me now that I'm the last person to talk about money and women, right? Let me borrow this Hausa adage. Please, my Hausa brothers. I'm a northerner, but Hausa is. There's a saying in Hausa that Zom Zona, Zom Pata. I know somebody will hit me from that end, but I want to borrow from there because that saying, if I can translate it correctly, is come let's stay, come let's have issues go. For me, the moment I stepped into office, it's just like money and women were like, oh yeah, come let's have trouble. Seriously. He said something. For NACOS, which is National Association of Kogi State Students, looking at ATBU, dues is not something we are even allowed to collect. So it's more of our money going into the whole thing. But I was lucky that when I served, the then dean, Professor US, he, because of familiarity, he kind of lifted leg that if you can get from few students that will volunteer, get it. Now let me just, not to waste time. The fund of the association was gotten through one person, and that was the assistant secretary. She was the same person that members of the association stereotyped that I was having affair with. So my own issue came from one person, even like the money was with her, and she's the same person I'm being accused of dating. So it's like they are eating our money and he's dating her. You understand? But this is the reality. I can't lie, I was tempted. And when I say tempted, to hear. Because the lady in question, before I became a president, I think we had this, she regarded me as a person. Now she's serving as my assistant secretary. More platform for us to even have engagement. You understand? So I kept running away as much as I could. But one thing she said a little bit. One thing I want to bring here is this. It was a very trying time because the lady in question, she's very competent, she's intelligent, she's very, very religious also, and she's extremely beautiful. So it's like, but one thing God does that I can say it's from Allah is that just like everybody mentioned, when you look at the bigger picture, the little things doesn't longer matter. I know that in life, for we men, the first trial that can kill us is even women. As a man, the first thing that will take you off your balance is when you fall for a woman. Then money follows. So let me cut it short. There is a saying from, I think, let me borrow from my brother here, from the hadith of the Prophet that said, Man ahaba liqa Allah, ahaba Allahu liqa. Whoever loves to meet Allah, Allah loves to meet that person. And woman kariya liqa Allah, whoever hates to meet Allah, Allah hates to meet that person. And these two things, women and money, when you run after it, you are no longer running to Allah. When you follow women, believe me, you have lost it. So I kept just reminding myself, this is just a 1 year service. When money and women dent your image now, that is all. Tomorrow, wherever I come to stand to say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I say, this one is a woman rapper, is a thief, is a that, and that is all. So it was a thing of looking at the bigger picture, right? So to our audience, I think all of us have said it. We all went through that test. Women, 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 fear women. So thank you so much.
There's still more to this thing called leadership, and just like me, I believe some of you, our viewers, would like to see. We're going to bring to you guys episode 2, where we're going to look into the bigger picture of student unionism. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, Beyond the Books BOIATEU, and catch our full videos on our YouTube channel. And make sure to subscribe, and see you next time.
Muhammad speaks love clear, Usman vibes strong and near, Jamila's heart sincere, Zubaida's words appear, Mackenzie sings the